Hello, everyone. Today I'll be presenting on Sarah Sanders Prescott. Sarah Frances Sanders Prescott, born Sarah Frances Sanders, is an early Seventh-day Adventist pioneer of Adventist higher education. She was born in Pennacook, New Hampshire, United States, on February 28, 1856. She is the daughter of Jacob P. and Frances M. Sanders. Jacob Sanders, her father, was a shoemaker of German descent. The Sanders family was very prosperous in business. The Sanders family owned a large Romanesque house on a hill that looked over Pennacook. Frances M. Sanders, her mother, became a Sabbatarian Adventist in 1858. Sarah, Sarah Prescott was 2 years old when she was first exposed to these early Seventh-day Adventist beliefs. Her mother raised Sarah accepting the Sabbath concept and the third angel's message, raising her in the early Seventh-day Adventist faith. When she turned 17, she accepted the Seventh-day Adventist faith, the Bible truth, and she forged the rest of her life because of the third angel's message. In 1873, the rest of her life was dedicated to pursuing and spreading the truth found by the early Seventh-day Adventist Church. She was baptized this year as well. The Sanders family held commercial property investments as well as substantial retail interests. Jacob Sanders, the father, was the one that organized and looked after much of these investments. These properties were located in Pennacook, New Hampshire. Much of Sarah's early life was spent in Pennacook. She did her early education in Pennacook until she attended Harvard for college. She attended Pennacook Academy. She was a non-resident student at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, taking a women's course. She took the women's course for a short time as a summer study. After completing this course, she continued into the field of academia and started her career as a teacher. While at Pennacook Academy, Sarah met William Warren Prescott. William Prescott was Sarah's language teacher as well as a fellow Sabbath keeper. Sarah was 16 at the time that they met. They fell in love, and then in July 1880, William and Sarah were married in their first home that Sarah spent her childhood in. Sarah was 22 years old and William was 24. Together they moved out to Biddeford, Maine, and lived in their first home. This is where Professor William Warren Prescott started his business life as an editor and publisher. Um, William and Sarah had their first and only child, Louis William Prescott, on October 12, 1891. At the age of 19, Louis left the house to study engineering. When the U.S. entered World War I in 1917, Louis Prescott entered the Royal Flying Corps in Canada in order to avoid being drafted into the U.S. military. He did this to avoid being sent to the trenches in Flanders. However, Louis was lost in action over the battlefields of France in April 1918. He was part of the Royal Air Force unit serving in the 23rd Squadron Division. Tragically, the body of Louis Prescott was never found and there was no funeral service for him. Sarah Sanders Prescott taught for a majority of her life. In 1885, both Sarah and William responded to a request from the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists to help manage Battle Creek College. During the 9 years in Battle Creek College, Sarah and William worked closely together in educational work. They were always active and shared a heavy burden of running a school. Sarah taught the German language. In 1895, Sarah and William traveled around the world to do educational and evangelistic work. In 1901, they relocated to London, England to keep doing their work. In 1903, they transferred to Battle Creek, Michigan, and Sarah remained there for the rest of her life. In 1908, the first evidence of Sarah Prescott's deterioration started. She was operated on by Dr. Howard A. Kelly on March of 1908. She was hopeful that this procedure would lead her to a full recovery, but in the fall of 1908, her disease of cancer returned. She had a second operation on March of 1910, and she never fully recovered from the operation. In May, they operated on her for the third time. On June 10, 1910, she passed away from cancer at the age of 54 in Washington, D.C. She was buried in Rock Creek Cemetery. The work of Sarah Prescott echoes through the halls of the academic building she pioneered Adventist education with.